kiddos, so you're just now getting to our video for today. A couple expectations. You need to have headphones in if your headphones work. You're welcome to bring over your own earbuds if you have those. If your headphones do not work, please just lower the volume button down to as low as you can, but still being able to hear it so you're not distracting to other people. Just be considerate, level 5 kids, please. Everything should be quiet today, unless you've raised your hand and are having a conversation with an adult. Please, again, make sure right now, and pause it if you don't have it, you need 2 colors, okay? And it can be a pencil and a pen or 2 colored pencils. You need 2 colors with you to do your work today. You need your pinky sheet in front of you today, and you need your calculator today, okay? If you don't know your extra math login and password, that's something that you might want to go look behind the computers in the room, write down, and come back over. I believe they're just your 4-digit AR number. So you shouldn't have an issue with that, and most of them should still be saved in the computer, so we should be fine. So that's what you need for today. Those are your expectations. So stay focused, stay within that barrier, that boundaries of trust today, please, and just make it an awesome, awesome day. I'll check in on you and see how things are going. With this pinky paper you're about to do, there's a part where I'm just modeling fake data. Do not be the kid today who copies exactly what I do with my data. Remember, you're using your own data from the whiteboard today. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Do not be that kid who's writing down exactly my numbers. I want you to just see what to do, but you're gonna do it with the numbers you see, okay? Hopefully you don't have any of those kids. All right, have a great day. Good luck. All right, hello kiddo. So here's your digital version of Mr. Hutch today. You are going to be watching this independently. You are not to be talking today while you're doing this. It needs to be completely quiet. If you have a question, raise your hand for an adult to come over and help you. You can pause this video at any time. You can also move it forward a little bit if you see what's going on. But if you are moving forward a little bit, you better make sure you're doing it right. If you mess up and it's cruddy looking, that's not okay. So take your time, pause it. You can back it up if you need to see what I did or see that explanation one more time. But today is a model for measurement and data number 4, and it's all about measuring using fractions, and we're going to turn those fractional data into a tally chart or a table, and then transfer it to a line plot with x's. Remember, every single x is a person or a thing. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be modeling it and pretending like we're going to another room, because on Tuesday we're actually going to go to another classroom of younger kids, probably like 1st grade or something like that, and go in and we'll measure their pinkies, and we'll actually be able to compare the data of how long your pinkies are versus how long their pinkies are. Also notice we're going to be recording boys and girls, so you'll be able to see if there's any difference between boys and girls as well. Okay. All right. So today you do need 2 different colors. So that could be a pencil and a pen, or it could be 2 colored pencils for a part later. So right away you're going to need to pause and go get that if you didn't get it already. I'm just going to use a pencil and a pen today. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go through this. We're going to choose a grade and a class to measure pinky lengths. So today, because it's our model, we're doing grade 4, so fill this out with me. And our class, you're either going to write Hutch. Well, let's go ahead and put, because you're all my students for math, so let's go ahead and you're either going to write block 1, block 2, or block 3. Okay. All right, so here's the directions that we go through. Directions, it says measure from the base of the pinky and ring finger to the tip of the pinky. Okay. So here's how this is going to work. So I also want you to be aware of how we're going to do this with other kids. So you can see this picture here. We're going to go up to, let's just say, first grade eventually, and we'll say, okay, you know, my name is whatever, Claudine. That's a good name. And I'm here to measure your pinky. You have to be really nice and talk really nice like that, like you're talking to a little baby. And you're going to say, okay, I want you to hold your hand just like this and set it on the table, okay? And then you're going to have them put their pinky down like this. And actually, it's easiest to just have them put their hand down like this and open it. And you're going to take this measuring tape or ruler. You can see, let's take a look at this for right now. You can see it's separated. There's one hole from 0 to 1, and it's separated into fourths, or remember quarters, 0.25. So there's how many equal parts are in the hole. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts in the hole. So this is split up into fourths, 1/4, 2/4, which is equivalent to 1/2, 3/4, and a hole. And then we have 1 hole and a fourth, 1 hole and a half, 1 hole and 3/4, and then we get to 2 holes. So pay attention to your hole so that if you measure someone to here, you know it's 2 whole inches and a half. So we have a mixed number. So make sure you pay attention to that. So what you're going to do is we'll be going into the room, okay? But today we're just going to stay here. But I'm talking like it's Tuesday and we're actually going into another classroom. We're going to go, we will go into that room and say, okay, put your hand down like this, or you can just tell them, hold your hand like this, and you're going to stick the ruler in. Okay, make sure the top is where you actually can see the tip of their pinky. And you're going to push it all the way down until it hits the crevice of the skin, and just tell them to close their fingers together like that. Okay, and so then, and actually it's probably, you're going to have them hold it up. Actually do it this way. So have them put it like this, and slip it in there so that you can see the pinky side, okay? And then you can see where it stops, and all you're gonna do is take the pencil and put it right on the top of their pinky and put a marker, a little tick mark. So I want you to do this right now with your pinky to practice. So today is all about modeling with our 4th grade instead of little kids, so that you can get practice of what we're gonna do. So take your hand like this, open it up, take your ruler, and do this with me right now. Put it right there, close your pinky, make sure your pinky is on the number side, and put your tip of your pencil right there and make a mark. And then you're gonna pull it away, and right there you have your data, okay? So you're actually gonna write on this. So you set it down now, and we can see that we're at 2 holes, and what we're going to do is it says make a mark on the ruler, paper ruler, and record the student's name and gender. Gender means boy or girl on the ruler. Continue with the entire class. Okay, bring the rulers back to class. Okay, so let's take care of this part first. So we just made a mark where our pinky goes, and we're going to record our name. So for me, I'm going to put Mr. Hutch. For you, you're going to write your name right here, okay? And it says mark boy or girl, so I'm just going to put a B for boy, okay? Or you can write the whole thing out, it doesn't matter, okay? And then I'm actually going to write what it is. So right up here, I'm going to write 2. And now my mark is a little bit bigger than a half, okay? But we're going to measure to the nearest 1/4 inch. So whatever this mark is closest to, we'll measure to that. So I'm at 2 1/2, or I know that's also 2 2/4, okay? All right, so what do you do if someone's pinky is right in the middle? If it's right in the middle, think about rounding. What do we do if it's perfectly in the middle? We say 5 or above, give it a shove. Anytime something's right in the middle, you round up. But if you can see it's closer to here or closer to there, Then pick that. Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze. I was hoping to sneeze and then you all could say, "Bless you, Mr. Hutch," through the computer. That would have been very nice of you, but I didn't sneeze. Just kidding. All right, moving on. So you have your mark right here. You mark down the fraction. Let's write IN for inches and be really neat. If it's not neat, erase it. So my pinky is 2.5 inches, Mr. Hutch, boy. Okay. All right. So now we're sort of going to save this off to the side and look back at our sheet here. So we do the entire class, but you don't have to worry about that. Everyone's doing their own. So once we do ours, here's how we're going to get the whole class. Okay. We're going to take our ruler right now. So you have to pause the video. And we're going to walk up to the whiteboard there. And you can see right here is block 1, boys and girls. So you're going to pick up the marker, the dry erase marker, and go up. And if I'm in block 1, I'm going to walk over there with my ruler, and I'm going to write in the boys section 2 1/2 inches. If I'm in block 2, okay, Miss Wismer's homeroom, and I'm a girl, hello, then I'm going to write the fraction right there for my pinky. If I'm in my homeroom, block 3, boys, write your fraction here, girls, write it there. So all of you pretty soon here should have your fraction written in there, okay? And so then what you'll do is you're going to need to sort of pause the video and look up at those blocks and start recording in what you see, okay? So once we have all of our data, okay, in there, you're going to write in yours. So this is mine, okay? So you can go ahead and put mine in here. So everyone for today, go ahead and put my pinky length in. Hopefully mine is the giant pinky of the group since I'm not really a 4th grade kid. So 2.5 inches. And then we're going to look up at the whiteboard, and we're going to write down everyone else's. Please keep them neat, okay? And keep them sort of nice and lined up as you go. You might need to have, 2 columns of them and get all your data in here. You're going to look at the girls on the board and get all theirs written in. Okay, so you're not going around measuring everyone. Everyone's measuring their own pinky, like we just did in the video, writing it up on the whiteboard, and then you can all look and get it written down on your paper. Okay, all right, so I have to walk you through this without the data because I don't have your data. Okay, so you're going to have to use the video in my explanation to do this. Okay, so at this point, sort of ignore what I write. Say that in your head. Ignore what he writes. Because I have to make up fake data. You're going to write the real stuff. Okay? So let's just pretend we had some 1 inch, we had a 1 1/4 inch, and we had a 1 3/4 inch for boys. And let's say for girls we had a 2-inch girl and a 1 3/4 inch girl and a 1 1/4 inch girl, and we had a 1 1/2 inch girl. Okay, so what we would do then, you're going to write your own data in here that's on the whiteboard right up there, and write all your actual data down here on the paper. And then you're going to look at it, and you need to find what's the lowest number you see. So look through all my numbers, and my lowest is 1 inch, because all these are 1 and pieces. So the lowest I see is 1 inch. So length of pinkies in inches, we have a 1 inch. And then let's look at the next highest. Okay, and you can actually do this. How many 1 inches do you have? Well, there's only this one, so I'm going to just cross that out. Don't scribble it out, just cross it out. And I don't have any other 1 inches, and that is a boy. Okay, so over here for boys, I'm going to go ahead and put that I have 1. Okay, then we're going to look, okay, our next is 1 1/4, and you can sort of look at your ruler to help you. So here's 1, my lowest. Do I have any 1 1/4? Oh yeah, I do. I actually have a few, or a couple. So over here, our next highest is 1 1/4. You're going to have to look at your data, remember. This is just an example. Okay? You have to look at the data in class. Raise your hand if you need help. And I look at my fake data and I go, oh, there's a 1 1/4. There's a 1 1/4. So I have 2 of those. One is a boy, one is a girl. Okay? Then I look at the next one. I can look at my ruler. After 1 1/4 is 1 1/2. Do I have any of those? Oh, there's a 1 1/2. So I'm going to write it down. So look, I'm going in order from least to greatest. And I see right here I have a girl that's 1 1/2. Do I have any boys that are 1 1/2? Nope. Just that big guy right there is a 2 1/2. All right, so let's look after 1 1/2 is 1 3/4. Do I have any of those? Yep, 1 and 2. So 1 3/4. I have one boy, cross it out, and I have one girl. And then let's look at 2 wholes, inches. I have one girl, so let's write that down. And I have one girl, so this is the girl side. And I don't have any boys with 2 inches. 2 1/4. I don't have any of those. Next one, 2 1/2. Oh, look at that big boy right there. So my next one is 2 1/2. Okay? And so number of boys, 1. And I cross it out. So look, I transferred all my data over there. Okay? Another option you have is even just writing from least to greatest what the ruler says. 1 inch, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2. And then you could even just do 2 1/4 and don't put any tallies. And then 2 1/2 and put your tally. All right, now we need to move this information down here. So you need to, this has to be in order. So start with your lowest and it has to be like a ruler. So we have 1 inch and then we have 1 1/4. So you're making your ruler starting at the lowest. So just copy it. There's 1, there's 1. There's 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2 inches. You have to write this small. If yours are running together, you need to erase and start over. 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3 inches. And I know I don't have any more than that, so I can stop. Okay. All right, now we put our X's, but we want to, if you look at the directions, it says organize the data into the tally chart and on the line plot. When you put your X's, draw boys in one color and girls in the other. So I'm going to do boys in pencil, and I'm going to do girls will be in pen. Okay. All right, so here we go. So I'm just going to take care of all the boys first. So I have a 1 inch. So you're going to use your data from our class today. Okay. Don't look at the other blocks of kids, just your data from your blocks. All right, so 1 inch, I have one of those. So I'm going to go down here, and an X is a person, okay, or a thing. In this case, it's a pinky length. All right, and so there was a boy. I have no girls. Let's go to 1 1/4. I have a boy and a girl. So here's a boy, and then I have to switch colors, and there's my girl, okay? Then I have 1 1/2 right here. I only have a girl, and that's in pen. So your data is going to look different. Mine. This is just my example data. Now we go to 1 3/4. I see I have a boy and a girl. Here's my boy. Here's my girl. And then I look at 2 inches. I only have one, and it's a girl, so that's pen. And then I don't have any 2 1/4, but I do have a boy that's 2 1/2. So you can see how much bigger my pinky is than the rest of the class, which would probably be the case for what you're going to see too. All right, we need a title for this line plot. And so you have to say, what are these X's? So in your head, be saying these X's are, and that's your title, okay? Lengths of pinkies in inches. You have to say that it's in inches. Okay, so copy what that is, pause it if you need. Okay, all right, so there's all your data. That's what we would do when we go up to a younger grade. On the back, this is your in-class work. Okay, so you also need to have your calculator like you were told. If you don't, pause and go get it right now. All right, so it says, so we would need to underline the important info. The fractions below show how many miles someone ran each day. Okay, so the fractions below, miles ran each day. Write an addition equation. Find the total of these fractions. So obviously an addition equation, so we're doing plus signs. So we have 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 2/4 plus 2/4 plus 2/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. And so you need to find out how many miles is that total. So put in all those numbers, and you can type it into your calculator or do it manually, but you know that you're going to get a improper fraction, a really big number on top, and it's going to be a smaller number down here. They all are in fourths though, so we can add those up. The denominators are the same, so it's going to be something really big out of 4. And so you need to name that whole. What's a whole? 4/4. So pull out all those 4/4. How many 4s can you pull out of that top? And those are wholes. How many wholes right here? And then what's your fraction of force left over when you pull out all those 4s out of here? Okay, so, or you can just type it into your calculator and hit equals, and you know the calculator doesn't like improper fractions, so it'll change it. All right, so that's something you need to work on independently. Number 2, show how to make an equivalent fraction, equal sign, for 4/8, so it matches the fractions in number 1. So notice this says 8ths. These don't say 8ths. So we need to make this match those. But I wonder, equivalent fraction, you sort of need to say this in your head. If you can sort of whisper it with me, then you're pretty awesome. Okay, so what's an equivalent fraction? Go. An equivalent fraction is made by multiplying or dividing both parts by the same number. Good. Hopefully you whispered that and didn't scream too loud. All right, so instead of multiplying, though, if I multiply 8 times something, that's not going to make 4. So we need to divide both parts by a number to make it go down. So 8 divided by something will equal 4. So you have to show it. So just show what you would do. So write 4/8 and show what you would divide both parts by to make it look and have a denominator of 4 on the bottom. Okay, you can even use a calculator and type that in and simplify, and it'll help you out. And then remember, you can hit that FAC button. Okay, so again, if you don't know how to do that or what the answer is after trying, 4 numerator, 8 denominator, and you can get your answer, hit simplify, hit enter, and then you can hit FAC, and it'll tell you what it divided both parts by, and you can fill that in on your own. Okay. All right. On day 2, the student ran 1/4 of a mile. On day 4, the student ran 4/4 of a mile. How many more? Ooh, how many more? What does that mean? How many more miles did the student run on day 4 than day 2? It doesn't say how many times more. It just says how many more. If you think you know what operation it is, write it right now, and I'm going to write it in 2 seconds. We'll see if you're right. 1 and 0. How many more? Subtraction. Big number minus small number. So 4/4 minus 1/4. Show that work and answer the question. How many more miles did the student run on day 4 than day 2? The student ran this many more miles, and it'll be a fraction. Okay? All right, so pause and do that work right now, and then unpause it, and you can see what the answer is. All right, so here's the answer. 4/4 minus 1/4 equals 3/4 of a mile. So then you would answer and say, the student ran 3/4 of a mile more on day 4 than day 2. Okay? All right, and you can pause that if you need to write it. All right, last part, it says record the data from number 1 into this tally chart. Okay, so this data needs recorded into here. So again, I'm just going to set you up. Find the lowest number, and I can see the lowest is 1/4, and you sort of need to make a ruler. Okay, so 1/4, and then what's next on a ruler? We have 1/4, and you can even look at your ruler. 1/4, 1/2, but know that that's also 2/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1 whole. 1 whole and 1/4, and so on. Okay, so write those down here, and then how many of those are up here? How many 1/4s are there? Oh, there's 2 of the days that we ran 1/4, because you count them. There's 1, there's 2. Okay, how many 2/4s are there? How many 3/4s are there? So you're going to write that down all here. Go ahead and pause it and do it. Then you can unpause and check your work. All right, so here's what you need to have. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And if you look up here, there's 1, 2, 3 that are 2/4. And there are 1, 2, 3 days that we ran 3/4 of a mile. All right, so that's your work right there. Good job. So we're going to do all this on Tuesday.
Yay! You're done with the pinky measuring! Yay, everybody!
Just kidding. All right, so now that you're done with that pinky paper, set it aside for right now, and you have 2 tasks to take care of. Number 1, I want you to go to McCainFourth.com again, back to the main screen. Go to links and move down to extra math, and I want you to do 1 round of extra math today, now that we reviewed our multiplication facts, and take your time and do your best with that. I want to see where you're at. I'll look at that data tomorrow when I log on to the site. If you don't remember how to log in or what to do, please raise your hand. Maybe we can have, you can just ask an accountability team person or a teacher's assistant only, not a neighbor, please. And they can come help you out with that. Next step, after you do a round of extra math, go back to links, go to ST Math, and continue where you left off on GG. Okay? As you go, so someone will need to go grab the binder if it's not already on the table in the computer lab. So work on that. Again, you can raise your hand if you have questions. Please, you still have your calculators with you, so please use your calculators to help you with any of those fraction problems that you're working on. Raise your hand, ask the adult teacher in the room to help you out, but it should be quiet the whole time until you get directed to head back to the classroom. So have a great rest of your day. I will see you later. Peace out.